All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Here we are, Wednesday, 11 o'clock, and it's good to be with you. We switched the time of our podcast over to Wednesdays at 11 because it's a little more in the middle of the week, and there's a lot of things going on, which I want to share with you about here at Foundations for Living. So it's rainy, wet, cold morning here in Wisconsin, and so specifically Wapaka. But I'm looking forward to being with you here, as just had a couple glitches there at the beginning, but now it's all worked out and you have my full attention. So we have a lot of things going on here at Foundations for Living. One of the things I hear oftentimes, I'm a part of a club here, a group organization called Rotary, and all the people there are called Rotarians. And one of the things I've heard over and over again this morning at our Rotary meeting was how much we are doing in our community. And it's thanks to a fantastic staff and volunteer base that we're able to do all of these things. And so I want to share with you a little bit today about what we're doing. I want to share with you why we're doing it, and what's the purpose of all this, because some of you that are watching this may be something new to you, but a lot of you are very familiar with Foundations for Living, and we're trying some new things here in our outreaches and what we do for our community and what we do on a larger scale. So I want to make a few announcements of things that are coming up. The first one that's very important is we have our Warming Center training coming up, and that is going to be October 14th and 15th, starting at 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock. It's going to be right here at Foundations for Living. The address is 1421 Churchill Street. Now, the importance of this is that our Warming Center is starting up November 1st, and this program rises and falls with our volunteer base. We really need a lot of people to get involved with this. What this entails is you saying, yes, I'll help. And then there's two different ways you can help. The first one is as an intake host. I take that back. There's actually three ways you can help. I'll get to that in a minute. The first one's the intake host. This is a person that comes at 6:30, gets the room set, our warming center set, and then they end up welcoming people in at 7 o'clock. Folks are allowed to check in between 7 and 8 p.m., our homeless friends, and then they are here. They're just hanging out until bedtime. Now, that intake host aspect of it goes from 7 until 9:30. Okay. And then the person that comes in after them is the evening chaperone. This is the person or persons that would stay the night with our homeless folks here at the center. It's really quite an easy job. Sure, there's been a few hiccups, but this is part of outreach. There are going to be moments where things aren't going to go so well, but those moments are very few and far between. So this training meeting is going to equip all the volunteers to know how to do this. It's really quite simple, but as anything that's new for somebody, it can be a lot to take on. But it involves going over rules. It involves getting them meals. It involves making sure their needs are met. And then you just hang out with them for the time that you're there as the volunteer. The other side of it is the chaperone. This is, again, as I just mentioned, is the person that stays in the night. This is the person that lights are off at 10 p.m. Lights, and everyone has to be out at 7 a.m. This is city restrictions on us. This is what we are asked to do, and so we do it. So yeah, that's the other aspect of it. The third aspect of it is the meal train. These are the folks that go to our website, fflwapaka.org. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen for you. And these are the people that basically provide meals. They sign up on a schedule, and this way our homeless folks are able to have a healthy meal while they're staying here at the center, and it works out really well. So that is one of the many areas that you can sign up for regarding our warming center. So again, here it is. Here's the information. It is October 14th and 15th, and certainly you don't need to be at both of them because Michael Hall does such a good job with everything, and so does Jill Polifka in training. And so you can choose one or the other, but you don't certainly need to do both of them. All right, so that's the big thing that's coming up. Our warming center is a huge aspect of what we do. And and we're expanding that, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you in the next few weeks to come, because we are expanding what we do at our warming center, and we want you to be a part of it. The other thing that's coming up, this is something that was kind of impromptu, is our Hurricane Ian relief trip. Obviously, if you watch the news at all, they were hit very bad down in Florida with a hurricane. And so as Foundations for Living and our church, the church that I pastor, Radiant Fellowship, we've teamed up to take relief supplies down to Florida. So if you are in the Wapaka area and you see our trailer parked in front of Pick and Save, it's going to stay there for the week, for the rest of this week and the weekend. And so if you feel so inclined as to make a donation of diapers, food, pet food, cleaning supplies, all sorts of things, just bottled waters, feel free to go ahead and just set that in the trailer, and we will take that down next Thursday. We'll be driving it directly down. Actually, it'll be my daughter and myself will be driving down there and coming right back again. So it's just a way that we can expand our reach and help people, because it's so easy. Even though we're doing a fantastic work here and we're so excited for everything that's coming up, it's always good to help other people and get a new perspective, a fresh perspective on things going around the world. So we have the van here as well, so you can certainly drop your donations off here as well if you'd like, and we'll throw it in the van. And boy, it's neat when the community comes together for something like this, and we look forward to being able to serve the folks of Port Charlotte, Florida. I have a drop-off site there that we'll be going to. Next up, what I need to mention, and then I'll get into the why, is our fall gala. Okay, so our fall gala is coming up. It's Saturday, November 12th, here at the Danes Hall of Wapaka. And what we're going to be doing here is sharing our vision of where we're going in the not so distant future. Up until that point, we're not at liberty to share a whole lot as we're working through zoning and different things like that to get to this point. So we want to make sure all of our ducks are in a row. What an analogy for a rainy day like this. But we want to make sure all of our ducks are in a row so that we are able to present it to you and talk about what God is doing here at the center so that we can move forward in serving our growing community. So, yeah, that's what's going on, and would love for you to be a part. Again, a lot of our moments here, you can sign up to volunteer right through our website, fflwapaka.org, and we would be glad to get in touch with you. Again, there's the warming center, there is the intake and the chaperone aspects of that. There's our gala event coming up, and there's the Florida trip where you can donate supplies to do all of that. But one of the questions that we wrestle with and we talk about often, and we do it unashamedly, is why we do this. What's the purpose of Foundations for Living? And Matthew 25:40, we are a faith-based organization, and so we unashamedly will talk about the reason we do this. And really, it's Matthew 25:40. It says, "The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters, you did for me.'" Now that comes from a parable in the New Testament called the parable of the sheep and goats, and it comes down to that whatever we do, we're doing it as unto God. And so we truly believe and know that when we are helping people, it's the heartbeat of God. It really is. It's the heartbeat of Him, and being able to serve people and to meet them where their needs are. As we've said before, when people come into our crisis center, it's a judge-free zone. We find out what their story is. We're going to try our best to meet their needs. They will leave here with needs being met. And it goes far beyond that. We have our thrift store, which is open to the public, but we also have the voucher side of it. We have our warming center. Again, whatever the situation is, they're welcome to come in and be a part of this, because we firmly believe that doing things unto people is like doing things unto God, and God blesses that sort of stuff. And it's the reason we keep going. It's the reason that we stay doing what we're doing, because we want to honor Scripture. We want to honor God. We want to do it well, and we want to do it in a way that that is going to bring people a lot of help and immediate needs being met. So one of the questions I got today while I was at Rotary is, how are we doing all this? How is this possible? Again, as I've said, it's through volunteers. It's through people like you willing to step up and get involved, whether it's through the thrift store, our programs, whatever the situation might be. But it's also due in part to a great staff here at Foundations for Living and a fantastic board. We're all behind this. We all believe in Matthew 25:40. We are really wanting to see people's needs met. And how do we do it? How do we move forward? How do we move forward with the goal and the dream we're going to cast at the gala event on November 12th? Well, really, we stand on Matthew 19:26, just a few chapters earlier in the same book that I just read from. And it says, with man, this is impossible. It is. But with God, all things are possible. And so we fully trust in God to provide our needs. We fully trust that our needs are going to be met so that we can continue on doing what we're doing here. And we've seen it happen over and over again. Our trip to Florida, we promoted it, and within a few hours, the need was met to pay for the travel expenses down there. We put it out there. People started bringing supplies in. All of a sudden, we have a bunch of stuff that we're going to take down, but there's still quite a bit of van left to fill. Warming center, we're looking at and we're saying we need more volunteers, but we know it's going to come because with God, all things are possible, and we truly believe that. So this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is what's coming up at Foundations for Living. And again, certainly if you are at a point where you want to volunteer, and we certainly could use it, go to our website, fflwapaka.org. And Michael or Jill will get to meet you and work you through the volunteer system. I would love to meet you as well. Certainly, anytime that you're in the area and you're driving by our place, if it's a Monday through Friday, stop in. We'll give you a tour. We want to let you know what's going on here, and we would love to get you plugged in if possible. Otherwise, we're just happy to let you know what's going on around here to raise awareness. So again, whatever we've done unto the least of these, we've done unto him. And that is the thrust of what we do here at Foundations for Living. We love serving people. We love meeting their needs. We love meeting people. We love meeting volunteers. We love meeting donors. We love meeting just general public that's saying, I've always wanted to check that place out. What is it all about? Stop in. We'll be glad to show you around. All right. So certainly let me look at the comments here. Thank you, Vito. Safe travels, he says. I am looking forward to it. Radiant Fellowship did this twice in 2018, where we took van supplies down to hurricane-stricken areas. And so we're certainly looking forward to that. I'm going to be hitting the road next Thursday morning at about 5 a.m. and drive it until I can't drive anymore, get a hotel and hit it again the next day, and then drop off and come right home again. So it'll be a good time, and it'll be a blessing to a lot of people. So all right. Well, certainly if you have any questions, feel free to email me, bob@fflwapaka.org. And we would love to hear from you. Or you can call the center right here, 715-942-2725. And if you're watching this and you are a person in need, let us help you meet those. Life is difficult enough, and you don't need to walk it alone. We serve an awesome God that meets all of our needs. We've seen it here at the center, and we want to pass that blessing on to you as well, so that you can get through some difficult moments in your own life. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll be back on next Wednesday at 11 a.m. And look forward to sharing with you some more exciting news. And I'm going to dive in on a few topics that might raise a lot of interest and awareness. So have an awesome day.